I joined the team. I actually started as an intern as I was a rising senior in college. I knew a little bit about Mosquito Joe and Buzz franchise brands, and really kind of thought it was a great opportunity, and they had seen some really explosive growth with Mosquito Joe, and I had heard a lot about their successes. So I saw the internship opportunity and was immediately attracted by it. I didn't know a ton about franchising at the time, but thought it would be a great opportunity to go back to my local community here in Virginia Beach and have an opportunity to learn more about the franchise space. So the initial internship that I did was actually with the franchise development team, which is where I'm working currently. But I worked underneath our director of franchise development for Mosquito Joe, really kind of helping her with the lead qualifying process, reaching out to candidates, kind of informing them about Mosquito Joe, and really just got some great exposure into that brand specifically, and also the team and the culture here at Buzz. And really throughout that summer, I just kind of fell in love with franchising and Buzz franchise brands in general. We have a really collaborative environment here, and it was just a great internship experience. So I went through my senior year at James Madison University and graduated in 2018, and really was looking at a variety of different options for to kind of start my career, and really just wanted to be a part of the Buzz team. So I reached back out to the leadership team here and saw if there was any options available. And then I was ultimately kind of started off on the operations side of the business. So I basically worked directly with our business coaches and our operations team in supporting our franchisees from onboarding, initial business training, through ongoing day-to-day support, and also some more data analytics and financial analysis with our franchisees too. So really use that experience to kind of learn the franchise system and how we interact with our franchisees. A lot of great experience. Got to work closely with a lot of our owners across the system, and got some really good exposure into that side of the business. We ended up selling Mosquito Joe to Neighborly back in 2018, a couple months after I started. In that case, we had Pool Scouts and Home Clean Heroes, which were two young emerging brands that we really wanted to kind of focus a lot of time and energy into, building those concepts. So I then kind of transitioned over to the finance and analytics team. So I studied finance in college, and that was basically, my major. So I had an opportunity to work right with our CFO and kind of doing a lot of the data analytics projects, and really kind of perfecting our unit economic models. So I work closely with the leadership team and our basically intelligence tools that we use. We have a tool called Tableau that I worked sort of the data analytics side of things to really kind of help our key stakeholders understand the KPIs and optimize business performance. So had a lot of great exposure working under our CFO and kind of doing the data analytics stuff. And then basically also was involved in the British Swim School acquisition. So got to work very closely with the leadership team in evaluating British Swim School and see if it was a good fit for us. So it was really cool early on in my career to kind of see that deals acquisition side of the business too. So had a lot of great experiences and exposure into the finance side. And then basically earlier this year, I was approached by our CEO, Kevin Wilson. He basically gave me the opportunity to join the franchise development team as a director of franchise development. So, basically had a lot of great exposure into the different brands and the models. So he thought it'd be a good fit to, kind of build onto our franchise development efforts. So I basically jumped at the opportunity. It was a great fit to kind of, continue learning more about the franchise space. I hadn't really known much about that side of, franchising on the development side. So I definitely, jumped at the opportunity and, kind of went all in on franchise development. So been doing that, basically since the beginning of this year, working with, candidates on all three of our brands, kind of leveraging some relationships and building relationships with the consultant networks to really kind of just help each of our brands grow. So that's a little bit about, Buzz and how I got to where I'm at today. Still pretty early on in my career. This is the I joined straight out of college. I'm 25 years old, and hopefully, continue to grow the companies in our franchise development space. I think there's a lot of different things that I love about this industry. In general, franchising is a very unique space. I think one of the coolest things that we get to do on the franchisor side is, really we get to wake up every day and we get to help people, realize their dreams through business ownership. We're giving people the ability to become entrepreneurs for the first time, really build some financial stability and kind of, grow and build wealth for their families. And it's really impactful to kind of see franchisees grow each and every year. It's super amazing to kind of see them hit goals that they never thought they would accomplish. And I think that's, definitely a really unique attribute. The other thing too that I always say is, this is a really huge industry. I see different stats every day, but I think recently I heard there's over 4,000 franchise brands in the US. And, as big as the industry is, it's a really tight knit, organization and group of people in this industry. So, when you go to these different conferences and whatnot, you typically see the same people, and everyone is so willing to help each other. That's one of the things that I think is very unique. A lot of our competitors, and we interact with a lot of the other franchisors in the space, and everyone's super willing to share information and kind of talk about their challenges and how they've been able to adapt and overcome. So it's truly a unique industry. Like I said, I didn't know much about franchising when I first came into this business. But it's really a huge and vast network of different brands and opportunities out there. And really, we get to wake up every day and change lives, which is super impactful. I think, people that are a good fit for this industry in general, everything that we do in franchising is process driven. So, being able to follow a process, have an operational mindset, I would say is key. In my role in franchise development, we're coaching our candidates on following the discovery process. And then once they become franchisees, the operations team is, constantly, reinforcing the process. So, people that can be a process leader and really live and embody the process, certainly will do very well in this space. I would say too, people that can think outside of the box. We're often challenged by our franchisees and by the industry to, continue innovating and making our products and services more, integrated and more, refined. So, people that can kind of look at the challenges, think about the broader picture, take into, different considerations, and really kind of, develop solutions that, our franchisees may not be thinking about. Often I would say, it's also important to have an entrepreneurial mindset, I would say, being able to have a pretty broad understanding of each aspect of the business and kind of be well-rounded. If you're on the marketing team, it's important to understand the finance and analytics side. If you're on the operations side, it's important to know the marketing side, because we're working with our franchisees and they're trying to process all this information. So being able to speak with our franchisees and our candidates that are coming through the process and kind of coaching them through all the moving parts is very important. Our franchisees become entrepreneurs, and we have to kind of, be able to explain the brand and everything that we do. And then probably lastly, I would say, a good attribute for the franchise industry is just being a people person. This industry is really all about building relationships, whether it be with franchisees, vendors in the space, other competitors or other franchisors in the space. Relationships are highly leveraged in this industry. So, being able to, interact and kind of hear feedback and respond accordingly, it's definitely important to be able to build those strong relationships in franchising. So I think it's been, very encouraging. I think, we have certainly seen a really strong rebound. We're on track to have one of our best years on record for franchise development and recruiting new franchisees, which is super encouraging to see. I think the pandemic really kind of helped a lot of people realize that, they've had enough with corporate America. A lot of people were laid off last year. A lot of people got the opportunity to work from home and have more flexibility in their, work-life balance. And now they're being asked to go back to the office, and they've just had enough with working for someone else. Um, we're also at a point where we have a lot of baby boomers who have, worked for corporations for most of their career, and they're at a point where, with everything that happened last year, they've had enough. They want to build something, for their families and kind of go out into franchising. So we've definitely seen a lot of huge momentum because of that. And it's certainly been great to see. I think at the end of the day, a lot of professionals just want more flexibility, and also stability in their professional careers. And franchising and what we do really gives our franchisees the ability to realize some more flexibility in their personal lives. So some advice for people that are just getting into the franchising industry. I would say first, soak it all in. You're going to be inundated with information, with legal information about compliance and also learning the model, learning your franchisees. There's just a lot going on in the franchising space. So, kind of being a sponge and just really soaking in that information and be inquisitive, ask questions. Talk to your leadership team when you don't understand something. Talk to your franchisees, understand their challenges. That's very important too. The most successful franchisors in my mind are the ones that listen and receive, will take positive feedback from their franchise owners. There's no way that we can really, make our process and our brand better if we're not listening to our franchisees, because they're the folks that are doing it each and every day. So being able to kind of, take that feedback and really learn from that is super important. I would say too, just always continue learning, whether it be through, the CFE certification or, attending the webinars in the industry that are always out there. It's important to kind of understand all those different, sections of the industry. Even if you're, an operations person or a franchise development person, definitely attend the webinars that are about marketing, because it's important to understand that too and kind of, get feedback and give it to the marketing team too. There's so much information. We talked about the fact that everyone in this industry is super willing to help each other, with their processes and learn more about the franchising space. So, certainly soak all that information in. And at the end of the day, really celebrate successes with your owners and with your team too. We give our franchisees the abilities to kind of, build a substantial business, and it's really encouraging to see them do that. So, being able to really encourage and support your owners is key. I think the support side is one aspect that we at Buzz do very well. And just, like I said, always listen to your owners and kind of hear their feedback. And also on the development side, listen to your candidates, hear what they're telling you about, your franchise opportunity, and really, adapt and overcome to those challenges.
That's great. I love the advice to celebrate success. I think that's important in any industry and keeps everybody energized.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely one of our core values is really to have fun and celebrate those successes. So I think that's super important, especially with your franchise owners. They're always kind of looking for, a pat on the back per se. And it's a great way to kind of, give them that support through celebrating their successes.